Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Lads Discuss Death Battle with definitely members who have been here before. Your only mate
Hello.
and Sean.
Hello.
Yeah, we definitely did not just scribble them over anyone else. They've totally been here for a long time.
Technically, I have. It's just that Bill asked the editor to step out of the editing studio.
About freaking time, honestly.
All right. I feel like before we continue on, I think we do need to address the elephant in the room. Where is Richard and where is Jaru? So,
We're just going to ignore the actual elephant we have? Don't ignore Steve.
Steve the elephant. Oh yeah, by the way, we also have Steve here. Steve, say your thing.
Well said.
Yeah, well, good old Steve. We would not be anything without him. But no, we have to... is there something going wrong with Richard and Jaru? Are we having drama? No, everything's good between me and Richard. We're still doing content together. We're going to have more DC discussions in the future with Duo. Jaru's lost interest in Death Battle altogether, so he just thought it'd be kind of pointless for him to be on here. But yeah, things are good between all of us. Obviously, Richard still... If you do want to still see some of Richard's thoughts on Death Battle, he has his own channel where he does reviews, and of course he appears on Brobusk's podcast, which you should definitely give that a watch as well. He's adequately funny.
And whilst you're at it, check out the Ruby edition too, which I'm on.
Oh, yeah, no, I suppose your other mate's there too.
I just added for Richard.
So, yeah, I figured, I'll get other people who are interested in Lads Discuss and also Death Battle in general, which is our editor Sean, who you may know for starting that stupid dumb counter joke that I am so glad I butchered and buried in my backyard.
I could always just start it back up. I am still editing this.
That is true, technically. So, Lads Discuss Death Battle is back, and we're going to be talking about all of season... What was the season again? I don't really keep up to date what the numbers are.
This was season 7.
Season 7. Jesus Christ, there's been that many.
Well, 2 was a very long season, to be fair.
Yeah, plus they didn't really start with a seasonal format until season 3. Season 1 was just kind of... They're just doing these episodes as they go. Then they did Goku vs. Superman. They took a big break. Season 2 went on for years.
Yeah, I was
and then they got brought into Roosterteeth, and they started doing the seasonal format.
It makes sense, really. But yeah,
I know my Death Battle history.
Yeah, this is why I definitely wanted to get Mate on. So yeah, Death Battle, they're going on to season 8. They're changing up the format a bit. They're going to have lesser episodes, and they're not going to be mostly doing Marvel versus DC matchups. I'm aware that's what a minor of the community really did not like. But surprisingly, I did not see that complaint much in the comments.
I mean, I mostly saw it on like social media, and I saw it in some comments just because I post YouTube videos, and I can agree, like when half of the episodes in the season do feature one of those franchises, that can be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, but I feel
but
like
it's also not Death Battle's fault that Marvel and DC are some of the most iconic characters of all time.
Yeah. So it's fair enough. They went with what the people wanted a lot of the time, so we can't fault them for that. But yeah, with season 8 on the way, they're going to feature more franchises that have not really been featured as much, or we're going to get a new... Well, we already got confirmed we're going to have 2 franchises that have never been in Death Battle. I think one of them's not even been in a DBX or 1 Minute Melee.
4.
4? Yeah. Oh, actually, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. But we'll get to those later. For now, let's discuss the overall season. And I might be in a minority when I say this. I'll definitely say this is probably the best season we've ever had of Death Battle. I mean,
in terms of just like overall quality of episodes and whatnot, yeah, I would absolutely agree. Plus, having the wait go down to 2 weeks, I'll admit I really love that. Just because it meant I had to wait less for a Death Battle.
Yeah, like...
It's a valid point.
Yeah, and not only that, the animation quality, I also felt like the writing also got a bit better. It took me a while to get used to Wiz and Boomstick being on screen, really, because...
Oh, yeah, that I'll admit that was a little horrifying and more static at first.
Yeah, okay, we probably should address that. Yes, after season 6, they did kind of reanimate Wiz and Booster. To me, I never actually got distracted or terrified by it. Like, if you saw a previous podcast, I was actually okay with it. I didn't even pay that much attention to it. But
If I recall, you were the only person to watch the analysis out of the last crew.
yeah,
Disgusting.
Like just basing the episode entirely on just the fights. Richard Jaru, if you do watch this, we're not bashing you. I'm just saying, I thought like I put more effort into my reviews.
Shots fired.
Ouch! That hurts me especially because I worked hard on those reviews to edit.
Okay, yeah. Well, aside Sean's editing, which are always kick ass, and it's free. It's basically slavery. But anyway, overall, like I just really, even the episodes that I didn't enjoy, I did think they had something going for it. Either it would be the writing, Wiz and Boomstick's humor, and of course the fights. Oh, and also like capturing the essence of the characters, which. When you look at season 1 and 2 of Death Battle, when it didn't have voice actors, when they would occasionally have a voice actor, some of those episodes kind of felt empty, like with Beast versus Goliath. It's like, I don't know, it just felt like just watching two monsters fight, really. It didn't feel like I was watching Goliath and Beast. Or, what was another episode I really didn't enjoy? Oh yeah, Eggman versus Wily. I felt like they had a few lines.
What?
Yeah, they had a few lines.
You seriously didn't like Eggman versus Wily?
I felt like they didn't really capture the characters that well. I did like it. I'm just saying I really like episodes that really capture the character. Or Strider versus Ryu, like the only one that talked in that was Strider, and all he did was just say attack names. I mean, I might sound nitpicky.
I'm not gonna lie. We are like the complete opposite on that because I love Eggman versus Wily. I honestly sometimes forget Strider versus Ryu exists.
So pretty much what you're saying is that you wish they had more personality like the earlier days.
Yeah, but now
the characters. Okay.
Yeah, now with a lot more the voice actors, especially having access to Funimation's crew, Roosterteeth's crew, hell, even access to Warner Brothers crews. Who knows? We might have Ben Affleck as Batman someday.
Oh god.
Oh dear.
And Team 4-Star, don't forget Team 4-Star.
Oh yeah, and Team 4-Star. Did they do any voices for this season? Even as cameos? Because I don't remember ever hearing any other Team 4-Star character or person in this.
I don't think so, actually.
It's fair enough. I mean...
But then again, they didn't have a character that is usually, someone that they voice.
I do also kind of like they got... who's the voice actor who played as Weiss's father?
I should remember his name, but...
I thought you were going the route of them getting Dante Bosco to reprise Zuko this season.
Oh, I love that!
Yeah, I love they got him.
I love that so much.
Even though I'm not a big fan of Last Airbender, that was actually pretty sick. Like, I was even thinking to myself, he sounds a lot like Zuko in the analysis, actually. Then when I actually looked it up, it's like, oh crap, they actually did get him.
Something Smite couldn't do.
Yeah, like, how is it Smite, which is one of the biggest games, ever, they can't get Zuko's official voice actor?
Like, I don't know.
Like, Aang's OG voice actor I can understand, but Zuko's? Really? Like, you couldn't get Dante Bosco? Like, Nostalgia Critic got him, but Smite couldn't.
Exactly, like, what?
I mean, I say that I don't know the actual story.
But it's...
Maybe we will never know.
It is funny. It is funny. But yeah, I kind of like they got Weiss's father's actor to play Beerus, because it's kind of weird.
Wait, no, they didn't.
Didn't he voice Beerus? I swear he did.
No, it was hang on, let me look up. I had it written down somewhere. I
swear it was. They sound eerily similar. That's why I thought. I swear it was him. I mean, even if I'm wrong,
it's him in the official show, but not in the Death Battle.
Really? Oh, okay. That's actually okay. That's probably where I got him mixed up. Like, I thought they had someone.
And just shows that. It's River Canoff.
Oh, okay. Well,
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it just shows he did that great a job as Beerus.
No, that's okay. That's fair. I guess they couldn't get him to officially voice him because legal things. Like, I don't know. You feel like if Warner Bros. Do deals with like Funimation, they would allow this.
Yeah, but
laws are weird.
well, I don't know like what goes on behind the scenes. So,
yeah, that's fair. So yeah, we're on the 10-minute mark. So to wrap up, I did feel like a lot of the episodes were high quality in terms of like fights, animation, voice acting, whiz and booze, and the humor. And obviously, now I have to talk about my favorite episode. And I kind of mentioned this in the previous episodes: Obi-Wan versus Kakashi.
that's a good choice.
Okay, first of all, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like, I have nearly a human-sized Darth Vader in my room. I've got a mini Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper. I've got a Darth Vader mug that carries my pencils. Like, even on my light switch, I have a dark side and a light side. Annotations for it. Like, if it isn't obvious, I'm a Star Wars fan. So when I heard Obi-Wan was going to be in it, I was like, okay, Obi-Wan, that's pretty cool. Like, he's not my big favourite character, but it's pretty cool we're getting another Star Wars character finally. But then when I saw he's fighting Kakashi, I was like...
after how long?
Too many years.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
like to put some
I can check the match real quick.
The last one we had was Darth Vader when he fought Doctor Doom. And since then, like between Vader versus Doom and Obi-Wan Kakashi, an entire Star Wars trilogy came out.
Yeah. Heck, I think even DBX...
It's been over 5 years.
I feel like...
That's your question.
I think even in season 1 of DBX, that was when we finally got another Star Wars character, and that was Darth Vader again.
Jango Fett.
No,
Yeah,
I
he
mean like the
fought,
last
Chief.
one. I meant the...
Okay.
Like, that was the last one we got. So, hell, I would love to have Jango Fett in Death. He's not a big character, but I would have taken it. He could join his son for all I care. But when I heard he was fighting Kakashi, and I'm a big fan of Naruto as well, when I heard he was fighting Obi-Wan, I was like, yes, give me this matchup. And it was confirmed Devil Artemis was going to be involved in it. And overall, that episode was fantastic. They nailed Kakashi, they nailed Obi-Wan, and it was just a whole meme fest of Obi-Wan things. I have the high ground. Hello there. So uncivilized.
I love how Kakashi interrupts the high ground with 1,000 years of death.
Oh, do you know what?
Puts him in the ground and is just like, I guess I have the high ground.
It's gold. It's quality, man. And the fact as well, like, I was saying, like, please do the 1,000 years of death on Obi-Wan. Like, even if he lost, that would have been attached. Like, the face Obi-Wan makes. I have the high ground!
Oh, I love that freaking face.
That reminds me of that that Yu-Gi-Oh meme that you activated my trap card face. You've probably seen that.
You say Yu-Gi-Oh face. My first thought is Joey and his chin.
But yeah, the episode...
Joey and his chin.
Steve, what do you have to say about this episode? Good old Steve the Elephant. What would we be without you? But funny enough, mentioning Devil Artemis, this brings me to probably my least favourite episode of this season. Batgirl versus Spider-Gwen.
Okay. That's understandable.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this rant short. First of all, I love Devil Artemis's work. I love Batgirl, Barbara's Batgirl. I love Spider-Gwen.
Just run us out there. It's not just Devil Artemis who does it.
It's the Triple D team.
Yeah, the Triple D team. Sorry.
Yeah, like there are 2 other animators.
I know. I'm sorry. But as much as I love those 2 characters, they're not really the first. I understand this was the most highly requested Spider-Gwen match, but I'm thinking this is kind of a repeat of Batman versus Spider-Man. But here's the thing: even that fight, Batman had a better chance at winning. I really couldn't think of a way Batgirl could win this fight. Like, she's nowhere as good as Nightwing, Red Hood, even just Robin in general. Like, she's more of the tactician, you know. She more works from the background sort of things. And when she does enter the field, she's usually accompanied by either Nightwing, Red Hood, or Batman.
I will just say the dummy skit carries that episode for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one dummy skit that's actually made me laugh. No offense to Dummy, I would love him as a plushie. Just feel like
I would love a dummy plushie.
I hope it's like the Caboose one when he squeezes the face and he says things.
That would actually be pretty depressing. Like, imagine you just like squeeze it. Here I am. Guess I'll die. Squeeze it. Hello. How may I be exploited today? Squeeze it. So, but you already said all that. So what's the point?
I'll
like
take
my existence.
I'll take their entire stock if I would. If they start selling that. Anyway, to wrap this up, yeah, I was just not a big fan of the animation. They felt really stiff when they were moving. Like compared to Kakashi versus Obi-Wan, they move so fluently. They move really fast and human-like. In this one, it was kind of like seeing someone play with like two action figures of Batgirl and Spider-Gwen. And
there are fights where that can work, but this was not one of them.
And the kill shot was kind of underwhelming. Like, usually I like a throat slit in deaths in movies, TV shows, but this one just felt like she just got jam spilt on her, and she's like, I guess I'll die now. And especially compared to the many other deaths we've had this season, that's probably the most boring we've had. And I'm not disrespecting the Triple D team. You know what? Maybe they just didn't. Maybe this wasn't the characters they should have done. If this was a sprite fight, maybe it would have been much better. So that's my thoughts on this season and my favourite and least favourite. So, Sean, you go next.
Well, speaking of this season, there was a lot of variety, and I did enjoy it. I still say season 4 is probably my favorite, though. This one was pretty good. The whole Marvel and DC fights, people only really started complaining like in the second half of it when we got more of that. No one complained when it was Cable versus Booster Gold. Then all of a sudden, like Venom shows up and people start getting upset about that.
Actually, I think people really started complaining about that when Wonder Woman versus She-Ra became a thing.
Fair enough.
Because it was,
that was just like
because it was like Wonder Woman's third fight, and then it was 5 out of 10 episodes in the first half were Marvel or DC.
Well, as Ben even said, like they don't like to do that all the time, but sometimes they have to in order to like get the clicks and everything. It's a business thing, if anything. As far as my favorite episode this season, I have to agree with Bill. It's definitely Obi-Wan versus Kakashi, but I am not a Star Wars fan.
Really?
I am not a Star Wars fan. Yes, I've tried to watch Star Wars. It wasn't my thing. Then my friends tried it with Star Trek. Not my thing either. But I like characters from Star Wars. Like Ahsoka is probably one of my favorite Star Wars characters from then.
Oh, dude, Ahsoka in Death Battle would be awesome.
Yeah,
that she would.
Yeah, I was actually one of the few toxic Death Battle fans that didn't, not Death Battle, Star Wars fans who did not like Ahsoka like at all. But over the years, I've suddenly just fell in love with this character. Not literally, I am not a Rule 34 looker. Plus, she's 15 at the time of the Clone Wars. Just saying.
But no, I just thought she was an interesting looking character, like design-wise, like when I first saw the cartoon and everything.
I love her in Death Battle.
That would be dope. As for Kakashi, I knew of Naruto. Kakashi was one of my favorite characters as well. Oddly enough, I only rooted for Kakashi initially in Richard's chat just to spite people.
How dare you?
Because like when Obi-Wan got announced, the two biggest requests I heard were Kakashi, obviously, and Kenshi from Mortal Kombat. And I just look at everybody like, why do you want to make Kenshi die so badly?
Yeah, I was going to say, Kenshi, as powerful as he is, he's not going to beat an Obi-Wan. Even if it wasn't Legends one, he wouldn't beat the canon one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat characters not the strongest.
Some are. It depends on who it is at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, technically, Scorpion fought Darkseid, and that's canon now. Don't ask, it's just canon now.
That was the thing.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 11 kind of confirmed DC did fight Mortal Kombat.
Maybe we'll hear about it if another Mortal Kombat makes it into this season. Who knows? But
maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
I really enjoy the animation. The soundtrack and the voice acting are still probably my favorites. Like Nick, who voiced Kakashi, really does a great job of sounding exactly like the character from the dub.
No, he does that with like every character he voices. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like there's no wonder that people really like this guy, even though he lost a lot this season before match that happened in the second half.
Oh yeah,
where...
before this season, he was known as the Sean Bean of Death Battle.
Oh, I bet he was so relieved
Like,
when a certain episode appeared.
Yes.
I'm taking credit for that joke, by the way.
I mean, it was
Trademark.
mentioned on your podcast years ago, mate. So,
Well,
but besides that, I think my least favorite episode, honestly, it's not what you guys think it is. My least favorite episode is Gray versus Esdeath.
Do you know what? That's actually understandable. That's became like one of the least liked episodes from like a majority of like comments I see.
yeah, that's why I've started seeing. Yeah, going back through the episodes, my opinion on it is kind of
Yeah,
shifted. Let's just say that.
episodes when they come out, sure, they're great, but when you take a look back on some of them, they're not as good as you remember them. And that's my case with Gray versus Esdeath. Like, the voice acting I thought was the best part about that, but everything else was meh. Especially the ending where she just freezes Gray into like a thrower-like pose. Like, what the hell were they doing?
It's freaking freezing, I'm gonna die.
I mean, the things that carry that episode for me are like, well, yeah, the voice acting, the discussion leading up to it about so Gray might actually fit all of Esdeath's boyfriend requirements, and I thought that was funny.
Well, yeah. Speaking of like the characters, though, that's like another thing. Like, what makes a good Death Battle episode for me is do I get invested in the character? Do I want to look these characters up later? And I've had that logic since Guts versus Nightmare, and I'm not interested in Gray or Esdeath, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think even with all the fan service stuff, I was just kind of like, okay, she's kind of cool. And I don't mean that as a pun. I just thought she was kind of cool.
Bill.
But if she or Gray lost, I mean, I remember I used to be a fan of Fairy Tail, but after a while, I just kind of dropped it. So I really didn't care who won or lose.
Yeah, I think everyone was a fan of Fairy Tail at one point or another.
It's one of those animes where you love it, then you hate it, then you're and then you're like, oh, I love it again, then you hate it again. It's one of them.
Yeah. But I love all the variety of stuff we've gotten this season overall. Like, before Obi-Wan versus Kakashi, oddly enough, my favorite was Genos versus War Machine.
I still have a soft
It's
spot
still
for
one of
that
my
episode.
favorites.
I feel like I'm in a minority saying that I love that episode.
I didn't like it at first, but then as I constantly went back to keep watching it, I was like, you know what, actually, this ain't too bad. I don't say it's my favourite, but compared to Batgirl versus Spider-Gwen, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think overall, like I said, variety was great. And we had our second ever live action Death Battle. We've had Butch Hartman actually watch one of these episodes. A lot of good happened this season. I think that's all I really have to say at this point. So,
oh yeah, there've been like 2 episodes this season where the original creators actually commented on it.
That's pretty.
It was,
cool. What was the second one?
Butch Hartman with Danny Phantom versus Jake, and the Red versus Blue episode.
Oh, that. Duh.
Yeah, because I remember Ben mentioning on cast that when they were recording Bernie's lines for Church, Bernie was just like reading through the script and saying, "This feels like I've actually gone back in time and I'm recording the original seasons of Red versus Blue. This is amazing."
Aww.
Oh, that's good.
I actually think that episode's really underrated. Like, especially
that episode is amazing.
I know, like, it's a shame it's only just reached 1 million.
I think Richard put it best where if you're a Red versus Blue fan, you're going to enjoy this episode. If you're not, you might just find it meh. I think that logic still stands.
Hopefully this episode will get more Red versus Blue fans.
Fair enough.
Because even if you're not a fan, there's going to be moments you laugh at this. Especially, I love the final death where Sarge is like giving a full speech, the grenade tucker through, and he's just like, well, should have seen that coming. Blurk.
Now, if there's any moment I love, it's like just Caboose wanting to help. Just like help by not helping, throws a sniper rifle. Help has arrived! Bang, kills Tex by mistake. Tex! No! Tucker did it.
What was the point of adding Tex into this episode? I have to be honest. Did she even contribute?
That was my biggest complaint, actually, of Red versus Blue in general. Was like, were they going to have Tex? Because that to me was just like, she's a freelancer technically.
Yeah, on one hand, she's a freelancer, so I don't think she should really be there. But on the other hand, they were trying to go for, okay, here's the cast of season 1, and they were trying to go for, like, you know, OG Blood Gulch. So I can kind of understand that.
I suppose, but really, it's the way they describe Tex's weakness, though. Technically, she should not be in a death battle because she's always going to lose then. I mean, if we're going by death battles logic.
To be honest, I think in a team scenario like this, that's probably like her best odds because yeah, she might end up like dying at some point, but if she does enough, then the rest of her teammates can still push forward and get the win, which they end up doing.
That just makes me think. Okay, let's say Tex was in a death battle, just her, and she outclassed someone in speed, strength, durability. Does she just lose instantly just because of that ability?
There's arguments to be made.
They write the episode,
but I wouldn't even know how to write this episode, to be honest. Anyway, we're getting to the half an hour mark. Speaking of, mate, do you want to go?
All right, so this season, I would rank it up there as one of my favorite seasons. I would still arguably say season 2 was probably the best season overall, but that's just because of like the sheer amount of episodes it had. So,
yeah, I suppose that is true.
But yeah, like the 2-week wait, that was like amazing, and God, as like the months went by, I just thought, wow, we're getting through the season quick. Like, holy hell. And like the quality was still like staying consistent, like in terms of like animation, voice acting, Wisdom Boomstick stuff. Yeah, when I first saw them in Miles Static, I was a little creeped out, especially by Boomstick's smile. Like right at the beginning.
I don't see the creepiness.
Hey, you know what? Sean, if you're up for this, put Boomstick's smile from that episode next to like Loki, Norman Osborn from the Raimi films, and any other cinema villain that has a creepy smile. I dare you to tell me he looks out of place.
Yeah, I think I'll do something. Loki, Norman Osborn, and I forget the third guy already, but I'll work it out.
Just anyone you like that has a creepy smile in cinema.
Listen, man, look, compare that smile to Flowey from Undertale. He has the creepiest smile, but Boomstick's kind of
There you go. There's your fourth one.
All right, well, we'll let people be the judge of that. Go on.
All right. But yeah, it got better over time, and I actually went back to season 6 and 5 to see how they looked, and yeah, they look really stiff. So, like in terms of like the quality of animation, I'm all for this change, and I've gotten used to the designs as well. So that's a thing. The Marvel DC stuff, yeah, when it got to like 50% of the season being Marvel and DC, I will admit that is pushing it. But Ben has said that they're gonna try not to do it as much going forward. But with it being like, you know, business stuff, I can totally like forgive that. Because, you know, you do have to make money from this, feed your families and everything. So
I do apologize, people, if you can hear my Discord. I can't mute it right now, so deal with it.
People in Discord servers that we're both in, stop putting stuff in there. I don't know why I said that, but
they're not gonna listen.
No. But and also, because the episodes are usually fun anyway, it never bothered me as much as it does like most people. Because take any Marvel or DC episode, there's at least something I loved about it. So yeah. Plus, with them being like some of the most iconic characters of all time, then you know it's to be expected.
Booster Gold, an iconic DC character. Never thought I would hear that.
Well, he's actually become more popular since that death battle, actually.
It's the second best Marvel versus DC episode this season.
Yeah, I think that death battle actually introduced people to Booster Gold.
Me
like
included.
myself included. I had no clue who he was, which makes his slogan even funnier. The greatest superhero you've never heard of until now, when he kills Cable.
I mean, I was kind of rooting for him when it came to that fight. Or after I saw his analysis, I was like, I hope Booster wins.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of people were roasting Liam for this episode, mostly because of Booster's line of, like, when time travel gets brought up. Oh, hey, I can do that too. Everyone was just like, Liam, you had a golden opportunity to have him say, time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Is it kind
Why
of
would they use that joke again, though?
I don't know. It's just that's just become so iconic with Liam.
Liam seems to always get the time travel, guys.
Yeah, it's weird.
In fact, I didn't even know Green Lanterns could time travel before Ben 10 versus Green Lantern.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Although, for some reason, it doesn't, like... If they time travel back to a previous point, they still have the same energy they had before. DC writers are weird.
Well, that was season 5. We're in season 7.
Wait, no, Ben 10 vs. Green
Season
Lantern
6,
was
season
season
6.
6.
Yeah.
I just mean in general, just DC writers are just weird.
They're just like, let's just fucking do this because it's cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much, that's why most writers do anything. Just the rule of cool.
No science involved.
As for favorite episode, for a long time it was Goro vs. Machamp.
Ugh.
Just because, oh my god, that freaking episode is amazing, and I still laugh my ass off every time we get the face death like a warrior, Machamp. Stop saying that. I love that line.
You can even hear a little cheer underneath now, and I guarantee that was him saying no.
Someone needs to make like a subbed version of that.
Why haven't they yet?
I know, right?
I don't know.
Come on, people,
Anyway.
make one.
And then like Red versus Blue because of, well, Red versus Blue nerd, and this was just packed with so much Red versus Blue fan service, so I absolutely had to love it. However, my absolute favorite episode now is Hulk versus Broly.
Makes sense.
Shocking no one.
It's like, oh my freaking god, this episode was amazing. Okay, first of all, the models, fantastic. The voice actors, the guy they got for Hulk, incredible casting. And yes, that was intentional.
Dang it.
This is gonna be full of dad jokes.
Yeah, and like Nicholas as Broly, he sounded perfect. Like, my god, the vocal range on this dude, it's nothing short of legendary.
Just stop, man. There's too many dad jokes. My dad joke thermometer is going off the roof.
Sorry.
Why'd you put it on the roof then?
In case it started raining.
Well, we have snow. Do you want that instead?
I love snow, man. I don't get any over here.
I had some last week.
It was
Anyway, back to Hulk versus Broly.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good episode.
Oh, it was so good. Just like them quoting each other's most iconic lines in the fight. Like Broly saying, "You're making me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry." And I freaking love Hulk calling himself the devil.
Fits really with his line.
No, it works so much because with Gamma being from hell now, what? Like, it's weird. It works on that level, but it's also him stealing Broly's phrase.
It's actually kind of funny because I actually hated this matchup, believe it or not.
So did a lot of people because they wanted Broly versus Asura.
That's actually not why I hate it. This was longer, even when I kept seeing it on like top 10 requests. I felt like the Hulk had his perfect fight with Doomsday. Like, two monsters of like just pure anger and like strength, like an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. it's perfect. I just feel like with Broly, he could have fought anyone else. I didn't think of Zora because, admittedly, when I animated Vegeta versus Zora, I've only seen 2 clips of that character. So, don't know why I animated that now that I look back on it.
As you were bored.
I know that feel.
But I actually would have been up for Atrocitus from DC versus Broly.
Another Lantern?
Yeah.
I've actually heard people say Atrocitus versus Asura.
I mean, maybe that might be the episode we get.
Yeah, who knows?
Can I actually just point out, Hulk had like decades of becoming the most overpowered character in fiction, and this Broly only had 1 movie. I mean,
yeah.
4 if you count the original Broly.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't help Hulk that Broly kicked the shit out of Goku and Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much scaling from that.
Didn't a lot of people predict Hulk was going to win when this matchup got announced?
That was highly suggested. Like, oh yeah, Hulk's got this, especially with Devil Hulk. And then Broly's just like, denied. Complete disintegration.
Like basically every Dragon Ball fight ever.
But I don't think Death Battle's destruction radius now can reach any higher level. Cause we've had the Earth get destroyed like 3 times. We've had solar system destroyed twice. Now we've had like multiple universes collapsing. Like, what else can you do at that point?
I mean, who knows what Chuck and Sekata are still doing?
Could you? Sean, could you say it again?
Who knows what Chuck and Sekata are still doing? They're still fighting.
Oh, dude, when can we finally get that settled, man?
I mean, it could be next season.
I hope so. Because at this point, I feel like parody fights can have an actual winner. I mean, McGruff the Crime Dog and Smokey proved that. What was your least favorite episode, though? I'm actually curious about this because you're not usually one to really point out negativity that much.
Honestly, my least favorite episode was probably the 7 Battle Royale.
Really?
Count that?
I mean, yeah.
They just did that because it was a promotion thing from Amazon. It was like, here's some money, make us an episode.
Should I not count it then?
No. Let's actually hear your thoughts on this. What didn't you like about it?
Alright, well, keep in mind, I haven't watched The Boys. I'm not a fan of it. Mm-hmm. So this is coming from just a completely outside perspective.
Oh, man. I thought you would like The Boys.
And now, there are plenty of things in this episode I do like Black Noir being with Wisdom Boomstick and just getting triggered as they're talking about this, like, how the 7 aren't actually that great people, but agreeing that the Deep sucks.
The Deep is pretty useless. Like, you know all those parodies people say like Aquaman is completely useless? No, that is
yeah, he's a living embodiment of them.
Yeah, like at least Aquaman can fight Darkseid on his own. The Deep can't even beat up casual thugs.
Yeah, and they have him die like immediately as well.
He was in deep trouble.
God,
what have you done, your early mate?
And well, yeah, I can enjoy like a whole bunch of this episode. It just feels weird, like it being the 7 Battle Royale, and how many of the 7 are actually there fighting?
Hell, one of them's not even part of the 7.
That's another thing. Like, why is Billy even there? Is it? It feels like it's just because he's the main character of the show, so they had to throw him in.
Funny enough, though, he would actually win against those characters. I mean, he's strong enough to punch a man whose skin's harder than diamond.
Fair enough. And, you know, this episode did make me want to see Billy in his own death battle, like perhaps against Stain from My Hero.
Oh, that would be sick.
I'm just throwing this out there. If Stain cuts Billy, he's won.
True, but Billy has one thing that will definitely guarantee him the win.
A laser baby.
The laser baby. Oh, I love that was included as his Arsenal. Is that all you have to say about this, or is there something else you want to add about it?
No, that's more or less it. If we weren't counting that, I'd probably just go with Batgirl versus Spider-Gwen.
Again, understandable.
Yeah, we kind of already expressed our opinions on that fight, really. Yeah. So
I do have another saving grace about that episode, but I will save it for when we discuss the tease characters.
Fair enough.
All right.
And Steve, what was your favorite and least liked episode? Wow, surprising choices.
Whoa! Don't have to be that harsh on Batgirl v Spider-Gwen. Jesus.
Yeah, you didn't have to throw that in there, Steve. Oh. I thought better of you, Steve.
It's okay, Steve. You're just giving me more work to do.